Welcome back, trainers. The Pokédex back at you again to get you prepped for Gigantamax Snorlax Battle Day. This is an updated video from the one I posted about 3 weeks ago since we've had a couple new introductions into the game. So we're going to go over event details, top counters, prep tips, and battle strategy. So let's jump in. First, let's go over the event details. Gigantamax Snorlax will debut in Pokemon GO on Saturday, April 19th in a Max Battle Day from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. Event bonuses will include max particle limit increase to 1600. All power spots will host Snorlax, and they will refresh more frequently, which means about every 30 minutes or so. 8 times max particles from power spots, 2 additional special trades, 2 times max particles from exploring, and a quarter adventuring distance for walking particles. There will also be a free time research starting Wednesday, April 16th at 6 p.m. through Saturday the 19th at 5 p.m. This will give you an encounter with Dynamax Machamp, some candy, and some max particles. We're not exactly sure how much max particles you're going to get, but I do recommend trying to save claiming those max particles if you can in hopes of getting an extra battle or 2 done the day of the event. And I'll update in the comments down below as we get closer if we get that information. There's also going to be a $5 paid ticket as well that we'll cover at the end. But let's go over the Snorlax battle and get into the top counters. So Snorlax is going to be in the Gigantamax 6-star max battle boss. So it's going to cost you 800 max particles to battle him and can be battled with a maximum of 40 trainers split into teams of 4. So like most max battles, you're going to want your team of 4 in the following roles. 2 people attacking, 1 person healing, and 1 person shielding. So determine your role ahead of time based on the Pokemon that you have. So if you have a lot of Blissies going into this, more of the healing type, try to take on that role. Don't say you're going to be attacking because Blissies aren't going to do much damage at all. So keep that in mind. And then during the regular battle phase, remember that you're going to want to use only your fast moves, not your charge moves, so you're filling up that max meter as quickly as possible. And that's best done using a fast attack with a half-second attack time. So again, you really want to try to get into those Dynamax or Gigantamax phases as quickly as possible. So, and also note, if your Pokemon do all faint, that cheering little horn, it really does help your team. So make sure you're doing that. Don't give up. Try to help out. Also be aware that Snorlax is shiny available and can be caught with a hundo CP of 1843. So let's talk counters. Snorlax is a pure normal type, so it's only weak to fighting, and it does resist ghost type. So the top attackers are going to be, without a doubt, Dynamax Machamp with counter. Let's talk about that a little bit later because it may not be worth your resources at this time. But then we got Gigantamax Charizard with Wing Attack or Fire Spin if you don't have an Elite Fast TM, Gigantamax Lapras with Water Gun, Gigantamax Kingler with Bubble, Dynamax Passimian with counter, Dynamax Phalanx also with counter, and Dynamax Metagross with Bullet Punch. On these, max attacks should be at level 3, at least level 2, but level 3 would be optimal. Best defenders and healers are going to be Gigantamax Blastoise with Water Gun, Gigantamax Lapras with Water Gun, Dynamax Blissey with Pound, Dynamax Metagross with Bullet Punch, Gigantamax Venusaur with Vine Whip, and Gigantamax or Dynamax Gengar with Lick or Shadow Claw. Again, Snorlax is going to resist those ghost types attacks, so again, you are only going to be guarding and healing. You are really not going to be doing any damage at all, and you're going to be powering up that max meter, so make sure your team is aware of that if you don't really have a lot of these other options. And these defenders and healers, they have a higher stamina stat, so they're going to be best with a level 3 max spirit or a level 3 max guard as well, or at least as high as you possibly have in those realms. And then with the top counters leveled up with maxed attacks, even though Snorlax is extremely tanky, I would say going in with 16 plus trainers that this is doable. But if people are bringing level 20 Pokemon with a level 1 max attack or level 1 shield, level 1 heal, I would say you're going to need about 26 to 28 trainers because Snorlax does have a really high HP and defense stat. And as far as Machamp goes, here's my thoughts. If you have a large enough community and do not have the resources to fully level up moves and power up a Dynamax and Gigantamax Machamp, then just wait for the G-Max form. It's going to be insanely better than the Dynamax form, so just hold your resources if you don't have an overabundance of it. Let your community, let your team help out. You go ahead and you bring in your Phalanx, your Passimian, or some of these other counters that you have from other days and save your resources for the Machamp. But if you do have a smaller community and you think it's going to be hard to try to get 26, 28 people, then I do recommend go ahead and invest that candy in Dynamax Machamp. Again, the Gigantamax form will be better, but you will still be able to utilize Dynamax Machamp powered up later on. It's not going to be a complete waste of resources. Now, my team suggestion here would be, again, let's let go of Dynamax Machamp for a second. I'm going to say Dynamax Passimian is going to do a pretty decent amount of attacking damage because, again, when you look at Passimian versus Machamp's attack stats, Passimian's just slightly less than Machamp actually is. So on the Dynamax comparison here, Passimian is really close to Machamp. Machamp will still be better, but Passimian is also going to be a top tier with that fighting type. Gigantamax Lapras is going to be a great tank, healer, all around, attacker as well. It's going to be great on your team. Gigantamax Charizard doing the same exact thing. So that's why it's a pretty well-rounded team. This is something I would suggest. And if you don't have Gigantamax Pokemon, then switch Charizard for Phalanx. And switch Lapras for Dynamax Metagross or Blastoise. Even a Dynamax Blastoise is still great. And save your Passimian or Machamp for the max phase to deal the most damage. So during the regular phase, you're probably not going to want to be using your Dynamax Passimian. You're going to want to be throwing out that Metagross, that Charizard, that Lapras, any of those. And then once you get into that max phase to deal the most damage, you throw that Passimian or that Phalanx in there with the max attack, that max knuckle. It's gonna do pretty well. So there's also going to be a $5 ticket as well that's going to give you 1 max mushroom, 25,000 XP, 2 times XP from max battles, and a max particle limit increased to 5,600, which means that you can then complete 7 Gigantamax Snorlax battles. I would only suggest doing this if your community, if you know ahead of time that there's enough people in your community willing to spend on this ticket. Snorlax is a great Pokemon, fantastic design. Is it going to be the most meta relevant, or is everybody going to go after Snorlax as much as they wanted to go after Charizard? Probably not. So talk to people in your community. If they're willing to spend it, then you should as well. We may also get remote max battles by this point as well, in which case this may be beneficial for you. But keep in mind, there's going to be a limit of 5 per day, and you're going to need to use a remote raid pass in addition to the 800 max particles. So the one thing I do suggest is to drop a comment down below with your friend code and help people build up a list of trainers as committed as you are to go ahead and invite for those remote max battles. You're going to get 1,600 max particles on the 19th if you carry over 800 from the day before, and then you possibly claim the extra ones in that free research. You're going to be able to do 3 to 4 max battles for free, so that's why if you're going to buy this ticket, just keep all of that in mind. Now, is Gigantamax Snorlax going to be a better healer than Blissey, Dynamax Blissey, in this game? Well, that's a great question, and I hope to answer it in this next video. I got a lot more in-depth information on the comparison of defending and healing with Gigantamax Snorlax versus Dynamax Blissey. I'm bringing that to you shortly, so make sure to subscribe and follow for more content. And as always, get out there and enjoy the game by yourself or with your PokeFam and friends. I'll catch you next time.